Have you guys heard of Gallo wines or the Gallo winery? Well, for those of you who haven't, it's in California and it's actually the largest winery in the world. It was started by a man named Joseph Gallo during the Prohibition. A common misconception of the Prohibition was that all alcohol was illegal, as in alcohol consumption was illegal, but only the sale of alcohol was illegal. This allowed churches to continue using wine for religious purposes, and also people were allowed to create their own wine for personal drinking in their own homes. So Joseph Gallo, ever the entrepreneur, sees an excellent business opportunity. He starts selling the supplies needed to make your own wine for personal use. And that kicked off his company in a very big, successful way. It was a very successful start throughout the 20s and the early 30s until one day police were called in 1933. Police entered the Gallo home to find Mrs. Gallo on the floor, shot in the back of the head, execution style. In the next room, they found Joseph Gallo himself, hands neatly on his desk, a bullet wound in his head, and the gun sat neatly to the side of him. A little too neatly, if you ask me. Yet, police ruled it a murder-suicide. Benefiting from the death of their parents were their three sons, Ernest, Julio, and Joe Jr. Joe Jr. was still a bit young at the time of his parents' death, so Ernest and Julio started their own company under the umbrella, and it was called E&J Corporations, and they kept the wine business going, using the family name, using the family resources. When Joe Jr. came of age, he wanted to choose a business that would complement that of his brothers, but still be his own venture. So he decided to create a cheese company. Wine and cheese is such a great combination, right? So he named it after his father, Joseph Gallo Farms. Well, Ernest and Julio were furious. They did not think that their brother, despite being the junior, despite being their brother, had the right to use the family name. They sued him in court and actually ended up winning. So Joseph Gallo Farms became Joseph Farms. Now, the brothers, the two older ones, spent the next 75 years trying to cover things up in court, from the Prohibition era beginnings to the family disputes and squabbles. And it was kind of whispered about throughout the wine company that Ernest and Julio sure had a lot to gain from their parents' death. So I don't know what you think about that murder-suicide, but I think that it is a mystery attached to the wine community forevermore.